Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am the Viking. Cheers. And today's devotion is the lessons of loss. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart and saves such as have a contrite spirit. A teenage daughter of a friend of our ministry reflected on watching her grandfather die at home. She said, with tears in her eyes, "I'll never forget the loving care Papa received from my grandmother. It taught me to care for the sick and dying. More than that, it taught me about living bravely in the midst of difficulties. There is much the young can learn from those who have traveled the distance. Likewise, the elderly would be wise to consider the contribution the young make even to our own lives. They will see our mistakes and they will see our triumphs. We will hopefully recognize their struggles and accomplishments and encourage them as they face the unknown future. Instead of, the young judging the old and the old judging the young, and those of us like me that are in between, we can all learn from one another because we all face struggles. We all face storms, and we all find our way through. A lot of us will do it through prayer and through Christ, but we can learn from everyone's mistakes. We can actually learn from everyone's triumphs. Age doesn't have anything on that. It's all about the person's willingness and spirit to overcome whatever storm hits. And even if we never face whatever they do and never have to use the techniques of the battle they use to overcome, we can still see their spirit, applaud it, and maybe even apply some of that to whatever storm we're going through or to a future storm. I mean, we can learn a lot from each other. Instead of passing judgment, and I see that a lot these days, like the young being like, oh, the old don't understand me, and the old being like, oh, if things were better back in my day. I'm even getting guilty of saying that one. Which actually, movies and music I still say are better back in my day and beyond, but on a serious note though, instead of saying they don't understand me, they never will, the young should look at the old and be like, they were young once, they've been where I've been. Their mindset was where mine's at. We may not have the same struggle. We may not be fighting in the same way, but I could still learn from them because they were at my age once. And the old can learn from the young just by seeing how they overcome, seeing the struggles they face and how they fight through it, seeing their strength and their willingness, especially when the young is using Christ to get through whatever life's throwing at them. But, yeah, it it shouldn't be a battle of the ages. It should just, we, it's like they said back in the 60s. Why can't we all just get along? They will see our mistakes. They will see our triumphs. We will hopefully recognize their struggles and accomplishments and encourage them as they face the unknown future. The Bible says, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose, a time to gain, and a time to lose. Ecclesiastes 3:1-6. In times of loss, there are lessons to be gained. Let's not miss the purpose of God, even in times of sorrow and disappointment, for He is always with us on our journey. And that is true. God is with each and every one of us. Doesn't matter your age, your gender, skin tone, skin color, none of that matters. God is with all of us. He went to the cross for all of us and overcame death, hell, and the grave for all of us. So the thing is, we just need to realize that even though in some ways we may be different, through Christ, we are the same. And that through Christ, the road to salvation doesn't change for any of us, regardless of anything. So, instead of always battling with one another, we just need to realize this truth. And that would actually, I believe, that would actually bring a lot more peace and hope and love back into this world. Instead of all this violence, all this hate, all this arguing. And I would love to see love come back into this world. I would love to see God leading all of us through. And I would love to see all of us make it up into heaven and celebrate together. Even though I know, even the Bible says that last one won't happen and not everyone will come to Christ. But we can learn to get along. And the old and the young can learn to both not be judgmental of either, especially if the old could remember what it was like struggling back in those younger days, because those struggles weren't easy either. Life isn't easy for any of us, regardless. What makes it a little easier is love, and the top thing is Christ, His love, His grace, His mercy. I love you all. Stay blessed, stay caffeinated, and have a wonderful day, and go in love, and go in the love of Christ.